Well, howdy, folks. I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart and The Lonesome Crown, all published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Brionne by Louis L'Amour. You know, I got two versions of this. Got two versions of the books with two different book covers. You know, we always review the book covers and the packaging on the books that I review because I love graphic design and I love illustration. And so we've got two different book covers here. This one was the original one done in 1968 by an illustrator with the last name of Hooks. I don't know anything other than the last name is Hooks. This one was another redone cover in the mid-90s by Gordon Crabb. You'll notice both have a man and a boy on the cover. I think that just both covers, I like both covers and I like both illustrators. This one was done by Gordon Crabb, who did a lot of the Louis L'Amour covers in the 80s and 90s. And I think it's a good painting, but I don't know if it represents the book as quite as well as this one. And this one doesn't really represent the book either. But I just think it's a more colorful, flashier painting than Gordon Crabb. But I love Gordon Crabb's illustrations. So if I was to give, I would give the nod slightly more to the more colorful one here. Neither one of them really fits the tone of the story that well. What is Brionne about? What is Brionne about? Let's put this here. And let's put this one here. What is the story about? Starts in the Blue Ridge Mountains, back east, right after the Civil War. And we've got James Brionne, Matt, and his wife Anne Brionne, and their little boy Matt. They live on a homestead farm there in the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia. James Brionne is sort of a lawman, and he's sort of, the All Reds are kind of the bad dudes. They're sort of the redneck bad dudes of the sort of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And Brionne here, James Brionne, he's arrested a lot of them and put a lot of them in prison, this, that, and the other, and they don't like him. So one night when he is not at home, the All Red boys, they storm the house, they kill the wife, they kill Anne. The young boy Matt, he escapes out through a tunnel. They've got a cellar in their house. He escapes through the cellar, and the cellar, there's a tunnel to the mountains, and he escapes that way. Well, the father James, the lawman James Brionne, he gets home and he sees that his homestead is destroyed, his wife is destroyed. He finds his son in the wilderness, and rather than get revenge or anything like that on the All Red brothers, he just decides, these Blue Ridge Mountains, I'm just going to get out of here. I'm done. I'm going to go west. I'm going to start a new life in the west. So he takes his young boy Matt. So Brionne, James Brionne, and Matt Brionne, they get on a train and they head west. And that's where the adventure begins, because everything that I just explained to you happens in kind of the first couple chapters. So there's no real spoilers there. And it's kind of described on the back cover. Well, the All Reds, he thinks he's escaping all the turmoil of the Blue Ridge Mountains, but the All Reds, they still don't like, they hate this guy so much that they follow him out west. Cotton Allred and the gang, they follow Brionne out west, and Brionne settles kind of in the Cheyenne area of Wyoming and the Uinta Mountains of Utah, and a lot of the things take place in those areas, which I've been to those places. So it's kind of cool when, I've been a lot of places out west, and I grew up in the West, and that's why I love Louis L'Amour novels, because I've pretty much seen all the scenery that he's talking about, and so I love these books. And so a lot of this takes place, and it's just cool. It's just cool to see, and a lot of the Louis L'Amour books do deal with Civil War veterans and the conflicts that they still have, and how they still hate each other. And that's true in this book too, with Brionne being sort of a lawman in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and the All Reds sort of being this badass gang of thugs. And you know, that's what they chase him back out to the west, and they still harass him, and they harass him, and they harass his son, and it ends in, you know, I won't get into it, but man, there's a lot of hide and go seek, a lot of chase scenes, a lot of gunfights, a lot of, I mean, it's just really awesome. Now this cover sort of shows Brionne and his boy out west sort of gathering sticks or something, gathering fire for wood, which they do. I mean, they are building a homestead out west. And so there's a lot of that going on. And then this cover sort of covers the, you know, there are a lot of saloons and there are a lot of gamblers and gunfighters, and Brionne kind of gets entangled in a lot of that kind of stuff too. And so this cover sort of represents that angle of the story. So I actually did not. I read this when I was a youngster. I didn't remember anything about it until I just reread it, and I found it to be really, really good. I just enjoyed every bit of this book. So for a Louis L'Amour novel, I'm going to give it a good 9 out of 10. I think it's a cracking good read. Only 119 pages, so you can read this in one sitting, and it's just delightful. It's just so well written. The story and the characters are so cool, and a lot happens in a short amount of pages. And it's just a great, great little book. That's all I got to say about it. Pick up any of them. I mean, pick up, you know, you can't, this is an older version. I don't think you can get this anymore. But anyway, whatevs. Brionne, Louis L'Amour, 9 out of 10.